I had lived in my neighborhood for 5 years, long enough to know that homeowners associations could be annoying but manageable, until Karen moved in. Karen wasn't just any new neighbor. She was the kind who treated the HOA rulebook like her personal Bible and believed she was chosen by fate to enforce it. Within 2 weeks of moving in, she'd already sent out 3 friendly reminders to residents about trash cans being visible, grass length exceeding regulation, and driveways not being pressure washed to her standards. Nobody had voted her into any official position. She simply declared herself the neighborhood watchdog, and everyone begrudgingly knew her name. My first personal run-in with Karen happened over something trivial. She knocked on my door to tell me that my porch light was too bright and disrupted the neighborhood's aesthetic harmony. I ignored her, but she took notes on a clipboard and muttered something about filing a report. I should have known then she'd eventually escalate things. The real showdown happened on a Saturday morning. I had just finished breakfast when I decided to clean out my garage. It had been months since I'd organized it, and I finally had the time. Inside was my pride and joy, a midnight blue Tesla Model Y I had bought 2 years earlier. It wasn't new to me, but I kept it immaculate, waxed, and gleaming. As I rolled up the garage door, I noticed Karen across the street, watering her lawn in her bathrobe. She froze when she saw the Tesla. Her jaw literally dropped, and she put her hand over her mouth like she'd seen a ghost. I thought it was odd, but shrugged it off and started moving boxes around. Not even 2 minutes later, I heard her shrill voice pierce the quiet cul-de-sac. "What do you think you're doing with my car?" I turned, confused. Karen was stomping across the street in slippers, still holding her garden hose, which was dragging behind her like a snake. "Excuse me?" I said, blinking. "That Tesla," she snapped, pointing an accusatory finger. "I just bought that car last week. Don't play dumb with me." I actually laughed. "Karen, this is my car. I've had it for 2 years. She scoffed, hands on her hips. "Oh, really? How convenient. I bought the exact same model and color. And now, magically, you have one in your garage? I don't think so. You must have stolen it. Do you think I'm stupid?" Her volume had drawn attention. My next-door neighbor, a retired vet named Jim, peeked out from his porch, coffee mug in hand. "What's all the fuss now?" he muttered. Karen whirled around. "Call the HOA! Call the police! He's trying to steal my vehicle!" I shook my head in disbelief. "Karen, the VIN is registered to me. I have the title, the insurance, everything." But she wasn't listening. She whipped out her phone, dramatically pacing in my driveway. "Yes, 911? I'd like to report a crime in progress. A man is stealing a car from my neighbor's garage. Yes, my car, the one I just purchased. He's threatening me." I raised my hands, dumbfounded. "What are you talking about? I haven't even moved it." Jim, trying not to laugh, called out from his porch. "Karen, you sure you didn't buy that car from a dealership? They usually come in more than one color." But Karen glared at him too. "Stay out of this, Jim. This is a felony. I will not stand by while criminals infest this neighborhood." At that point, I knew I was in for a circus. Sure enough, 10 minutes later, 2 patrol cars rolled up the street. By then, half the neighborhood had come outside, curious about the commotion. Kids sat on their bikes, parents crossed arms, and Karen stood proudly with her arms folded like she had single-handedly solved a crime. The officers got out, one of them clearly annoyed. "Ma'am, you said there was a car theft in progress?" "Yes, officer," Karen said eagerly, pointing at me. "That man stole my car. I want him arrested." I sighed. "Officers, this is my car. It's registered in my name. The title and registration are in my house. I'll be glad to show you." Karen interrupted. "Don't believe him. He probably forged papers. Criminals are sneaky like that. I just purchased that Tesla last week. It's mine." The officer raised an eyebrow. "Do you have proof of ownership, ma'am?" Karen froze. Well, no, not on me. The dealership is mailing the paperwork, but I know what I bought and it's that car right there. The second officer glanced at me. Sir, would you mind showing us your documentation? Not at all, I said, heading inside. A few minutes later, I returned with my folder, title, registration, insurance, purchase receipts, everything in my name dating back 2 years. The officers examined the documents carefully, then looked at Karen. Ma'am, everything checks out. This vehicle belongs to him. Karen's face turned red. That's impossible. He's tricking you. You have to impound the car and investigate. The officer sighed. Ma'am, with all due respect, unless you have your paperwork proving ownership, there's nothing here. This is clearly his property. That's when Karen lost it. She stomped her foot like a toddler. This is a conspiracy. The HOA will hear about this. I'm filing a lawsuit. You'll regret ever messing with me. The officers exchanged a look, clearly tired of her antics. One of them said flatly, Ma'am, you need to calm down before you're the one getting cited for misuse of 911 services. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Jim chuckled so loudly I thought he might choke on his coffee. Karen stormed off, screaming about how the neighborhood was corrupt and full of criminals. The officers apologized for the inconvenience, but I just laughed it off. Still, as I lowered my garage door later that day, I couldn't shake the feeling this wasn't over. With someone like Karen, the battle had just begun.